All right, I call this Mauricio's Secrets because its teas dropped on a few different media platforms as well as his show. I've aggregated it together. I'm going to comment on it, and I'd love you guys to like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I'm going to be just dropping gossip videos as I can. So there's going to be no set schedule. So if you hit the notify button, you won't miss any. If you're in the Patreon, you'll be alerted through that system. But I wanted you to know I'm going to be doing these as I see things that inspire me and I've got the time. So I'm changing it up a little bit on the channel because I got sick of doing the recaps, although I am going to finish Vanderpump Rules. All right, so hit the notify button. Okay, let's get started with Mauricio's Secrets. I've got a lot of insight into him. By the way, really quick, I got a chainsaw, okay? And I've been trimming every bush in my place. Like, it's such good therapy. So I want you to know that even if you're in Beverly Hills, grab a chainsaw, okay? And start trimming your trees and bushes back. You will feel like a new woman after. I'm telling you, this is genuine therapy. Or like axe something. I cut like wood the other day and I was like, wow, this is great for my mental health. Okay, let's start with this one. About Morgan Wade.
I don't really know, to be quite honest with you. I have not asked her straight up. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of news on the two of them. Are they dating? Are they not dating? I honestly, I just never asked straight up.
Okay, are you curious about it?
Well, look, they definitely have some sort of a connection together. There's no question about that. I think they spend a lot of time together, and what that connection is, I have no idea.
Got it.
And maybe one of the reasons I don't want to ask is because I don't want to put the extra pressure on her.
That was a good one. All right, so let's think about that for a second. Let me use my Mauricio energy right now to tell you what I think he was thinking. He didn't want to get into his business with Kyle, so he didn't ask her because he didn't want to give her the opportunity to ask him. So this is actually not about him not wanting to know or put pressure on the relationship. This is about him not wanting to have to tell her anything about his personal life or anything that might have led up to this moment. Okay, so he's kind of, what do they call that? Deflecting. So now let's listen to what Mauricio said about Kyle Richards losing trust in Mauricio. He said it in a Bryce Sanders interview for Entertainment Tonight with his daughters. And to be honest, the daughters are on the show, but I think that he decided to not do these press junkets related to selling Beverly Hills at this time without the daughters to try to kind of put a wall up a little bit to the media and what they would ask in front of the girls. So it was a very smart PR move. So let me go ahead and play you what he said. By the way, have you ever heard this expression that Mauricio used, tits on an ant? What the hell does that even mean? But his face is everything. So I'm going to pull up his face in the interview while I play it for you. Watch his face. It's like very dramatic.
We're looking for this big incident, the reason why. To me, everything that Kyle has shared, it's death by 1,000 paper cuts. It just kind of dug away over time. But she has said there was a moment where she lost trust.
There were things that happened that made me lose my trust. I wasn't able to recover from.
Do you know what that moment is?
I don't know what that is. All I can tell you is that at the end of the day, we've been married for 29 years. We met when we were kids. I mean, I was 23 years old, plus or minus when I met her. I'm a different man. She's a different woman today than she was 29 years ago. You have all of these words and all these buzzwords and all of this speculation, and it's just, there's no need to speculate. I think we've been open. I think we've been honest, and I think people need to quit looking for, what I always say, tits on an ant.
Did you hear that? What is tits on an ant? Well, apparently Kyle knows the expression. She used it back in 2020 on Twitter/X. Talk about looking for tits on an ant, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, to some person who was, I guess, doing a deep dive of that season. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think it means. Okay, moving on. It's at this moment I want to remind my Patreons on here to go watch the confessional video, Kyle and Mauricio, Rumors of Cheating, Separation, Porn and Lesbian Lovers, from back in July. Okay, so this is him addressing the Paris Hilton comment on Entertainment Tonight. Listen to this. He's with the girls who supposedly are rectifying the situation with Paris. Remember, that was in the statement. Listen to this.
Thing that has caused a little stir is the discussion over creating the agency, leaving Hilton and Highland behind.
I got kind of by Hilton and Highland. I am Rick's brother-in-law, but unfortunately, it got sour because it really affected the family, Kyle, more than anybody. You know, her family stopped speaking to her.
Your niece Paris speaking out recently, not a fan of this conversation. What is your message on that and sharing all that?
She said, don't use the Hilton name.
It's sad that she got so upset about that. But at the end of the day, it was, it's two businessmen making two business decisions. I felt like I deserved something. I asked for something. He didn't want to do it. And then I chose to go off on my own. I wanted to take care of my family. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to go forward. I wanted to do the most I can do. And at the end of the day, I made that decision just to go forward with this thing. So, certainly no bad blood on my side.
There's some bad blood on the Hilton side, however, Mauricio. I don't think Paris Hilton was really commenting on what Mauricio said. More like, why are you saying it on your show? So Paris Hilton just doesn't want him to use any of the Hilton stuff on his show. That's where she got angry, because that's their brand. So they don't want it intermingled with his brand. And that's what that really was about. And Rick hates the spotlight, and he does not like his name in the press or anything like that. He's old school. So Paris was sticking up for her dad because of that too. Okay, let's move on to the announcement that Kyle got a divorce attorney. I want to check out if they say who. Life and Style broke this yesterday that Kyle Richards has finally hired a divorce lawyer, okay? And Mauricio is actively trying to move out of that family home, although maybe he's changing his mind after speaking to his attorney. Now, they've been together for 8 months, and this is what was quoted by a source. Kyle finally pulled the trigger and hasn't looked back, says the source. She needed to move on. Now, this part was very insightful because I've said this to you guys a bunch of times, and that is the biggest bridge of Kathy Hilton and Kyle Richards being reconnected is that Mauricio be completely out of the picture, because Kathy Hilton has never liked Mauricio and vice versa. They don't get along, they don't like each other, and Kathy did not approve of Mauricio from the very beginning when he married Kyle. She wanted better for Kyle. In the beginning, remember, he was young and he was poor and he was trying to figure his stuff out. So this was sort of Kathy's position. And Kathy, I think, wanted to be a little bit of a Big Kathy to Kyle, because Big Kathy had made Kim and Kathy marry into wealth and prestige families, but not Kyle. She bucked this. And so I think Kathy always wanted to kind of fix that. And when her mom died, she wanted to step in and loves to be matchmaker. So now Morgan Wade, obviously being Kyle's lover, if that's what's happening, because Morgan sort of convinced Kyle to be her girlfriend, that's going to obviously throw a wrench into that. But Kyle doesn't seem to be taking that position. I don't know what she said to her sister. The reason I say that is Morgan Wade's last girlfriend said that she was persuaded by Morgan Wade to be her lover. And she wasn't really feeling it at first. And then she sort of got swayed by Morgan. So she's obviously quite persuasive and hot, as Kyle said. So this says, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills star 55 also needed her sister Kathy Hilton back in her life. Kathy and her husband, Rick Hilton, have carried a lot of animosity towards Mauricio, who quit his job at Rick's real estate company in 2011 to start his own firm. There will be some real healing happening in Kyle and Kathy's relationship with Mauricio finally out of the picture. So that is accurate, and this is definitely someone talking to Kyle. But Mauricio, 53, who recently revealed he had a whole breakdown at work due to stress, may not go quietly, warns a source. He doesn't want the divorce. He would love to stop it, but he knows that might not be possible at this point. So why wouldn't Mauricio want a divorce with things as broken down as they are? Well, I'd say a few reasons. Number one, I don't know if Kyle Richards has been linked to any of his company's loans, number one. Number two, she might have a right to 50% of the agency and he'll have to buy her out or buy her piece or something to that degree, because that was made during their time together in the marriage and absolutely benefited from Kyle Richards being on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and thereby him being on the show and presenting the real estate firm. In addition to that, it might cause some problems, like some banks might want to call loans if Kyle's on them and there's an official legal document of a divorce that they used her collateral as part of the loan. He has a lot of real estate. He's very extended, I'd say, in both his business and his real estate holdings. I'm speculating, but I'd say that's the case. And we heard in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 13 that Kyle Richards has signed a bunch of things she doesn't even know what it is. So it's possible she did sign loan agreements and other things, and Mauricio doesn't want to get into that kind of area. Like, it could be very problematic, and it could set some things in motion that he can't handle right now financially. So I think that is why he's going to fight this divorce tooth and nail. And of course, there's the kids, right? But I don't think it's about the kids so much anymore, to be fair. Now, Kyle Richards will never hurt her daughters, but she will make sure that her daughters benefit, no matter what. So this is going to be a war of the roses, I think, at the end of the day, in trying to coordinate who gets what and how they're going to dismantle this 27 plus year marriage and relationship. It's a lot. Kyle hates conflict unless she has someone backing her up. Okay, that's why Kim Richards and Kyle together were so good, because Kim gave Kyle the backbone she needed to stand her ground. Without a sister, she struggles because it's not her nature to be combative. So she really has to find it from somewhere. Like, she has to be really protecting something to be triggered, or she has to be drunk or something. And she has none of these crutches anymore. Well, there's more, but I find you guys like me to stop at this amount. So I'm going to stop, and we'll use it in some other video, I promise. I have some other sound bites. I'm going to go hack down another bush real quick, and then maybe I'll do another video, okay? Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button.